What's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know where we are. We're at the weekly check-in. Are you excited to be in this place on today? Well, wherever you are. If you're physical, wherever you are you excited to be where you are? Listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and tell me, where are you living from? Right where you are, drop in the comment section. Let me know what cities where you at, where you viewing from. While you're doing that, I want to let you know about what's happening on this week. Ambassadors, if you're in the chat room, I want everybody to flood the chat with saying LSR, LSR, LSR. Because this week, what's going down on this Friday is our Love, Sex, and Relationship Clinic. Yes, we said it. It's our Love, Sex, and Relationship Clinic. So if you're in relations, if you got you a boo thing, y'all thinking about going to the next level, we want y'all to come be a part. If you in that boo thing, but you're thinking about kicking them to the left, we want you to come be a part. So this Friday at 6 o'clock, we want you guys to be in the building. We're going to put the information up again for you. We got couples from across every avenue, every background that's going to help answer some questions that you may have concerning relationships. We got blended families. We got people who are newlyweds. We got people who were newlyweds, but then turned around and became newlyweds again. We got people who were divorced and living a single life. And they're all coming together in one place to have the conversation. Yes, they are. So I'm going to go to the chat room real quick. Let me see who's with us real quick before we go through. All right, so I see we got our ambassador Rena in the chat room on today. All right, Rena, what's up? Thank you for rocking with us. All right, we got Nicole. Oh, she want to Nicole, you want to give us a shout out. You want to give a shout out to give us a shout out. You watching us. You not watching your cousin. All right, who else we got? We got none of, all right, Mikey in the building, okay. All right. And we got our Jeremy in the, see, y'all supposed to be talking to us. Y'all supposed to be talking to us. No, I'm joking. I love it. Where y'all at? Yes. Interact with everybody. Y'all, listen, I have an amazing guest that's going to be talking with me on today. And this is my first time feeling good because I have an author. Yes, I got an author that's going to be with me. Man, I thought about writing books, but when I started seeing all the words that are entailed with writing books, I just said, you know what? I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to do that. It seemed like it's easier like that. But we've been able to have an author share with us on today. From Removing the Rings, we have Kristi Denise, who is an author, inspirational speaker, and professor who is passionate about inspiring others, especially women, to move past their insecurities and fears to live a life of authenticity. Her motto is be real, be healed. She is a native of Palestine, Texas, and credits her small town roots for her love of people. Her infectious smile and personality enables her to connect easily with others. Her greatest joy is being a mother to her 13-year-old daughter, Brooklyn. Hey, Brooklyn. As a communication professor since 2009, Kristi has taught hundreds of students the power of using their voice. She believes that words are extremely powerful and have the ability to greatly impact the lives of others. Oh, I like this one right here. This is a good one right here. Miss Kristi, listen. It says she holds a BA. Somebody shout a BA. Yes, we got a bachelor's over here. She holds a BA in communication from Grambling State. And wait a minute, she got more degrees underneath her belt, and we ain't talking about deodorant. She got a master's, a MA. Yes. She got an MA in speech communication from Texas Southern University. She is also the proud member of Delta Sigma sorority. She and daughter Brooklyn currently resides in Houston, Texas. And guys, I'm so excited to have her online with us right now. So as we bring to the platform, this is what I want y'all to do. In the chat room, I want y'all to go ahead and just say hi, hi Miss Denise, hi Miss. I want y'all to go ahead and make her feel. You want to call you Mrs. Denise or you want to call you Chrissy? Which one? Which one? Let me make sure say something. Let me make sure your mic
Christy.
is up. Chris. Okay. All right. Y'all in the chat room. Y'all say, hey, Christy. Hey, Christy. Let's go ahead and welcome her to the weekly check-in. Christy, how's your day going so far?
Pastor Cal, let me tell you, I feel good today, but I feel great now. I mean, I need that energy 24/7. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for inviting me here today by way by Keisha. I'm honored to be here and just glad to have this conversation with you.
Well, I'm glad that you took the time out of your busy day to talk to little old big old me. You could have went anywhere, but the fact that you decided to carve out a Wednesday to speak with us, it not only speaks to the person that you are, but it also speaks to your character of wanting to help people, which is what simply love God, love people, and to make a difference. So I just want to say on behalf of our pastors, Dr. Mike and Martise Lindsay, and today's Living Word Church, thank you for just coming on and just being able to, drop some nuggets. So before we get into the questions, tell us about this book that you got. Come on, let's talk about it.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously the book was the motivation for writing the book was the fact that I did go through a divorce myself in 2010, I believe. So 16 years ago. I actually wrote the book in 2020, and it was a promise that I kept to God after He delivered me from so many tests and just a very difficult, probably the most difficult time I'd experienced in my life. And I promised God that if He brought me up out of that low place, that sunken place, that I would be sure to encourage other divorced women who may feel like they're going through this alone. They're the only ones experiencing these types of feelings or thoughts. And so it took me a while to complete it, but I did finish it in 2020. So it's,
Wow.
it was a labor of love for sure.
Wow, so you did the book during a pandemic. Okay, all right. That's good. That's good. Well, let's go ahead and talk into the conversation since you pretty much done gave us the gist of the book. And one of the topics here talking about is divorce. I got a question. Do me a favor, take me back to a time in your first marriage, if you don't mind, when it ended. What was some of the lowest and emotional and spiritual the lowest emotional what was the most excuse me, what was the most lowest emotional point for you emotionally and spiritually? Did I say that question right? I think I did. Let me
Oh,
say it again. Just
yeah,
get me.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I
Okay.
got you.
Okay. All right.
Um, I would say,
Because you're a communication coach. I want to
I
make sure my speech is right.
no, no, no. I got you. I would say the lowest point for me emotionally was feeling like I had failed,
Mhm.
feeling like I was a failure, um, feeling betrayed by
Mm.
God. Uh,
Wow.
After praying, after just believing God that my first marriage was going to be great, and when it did not go, for me, that's probably the lowest point in my relationship with God initially, and just the feelings of being, embarrassed, people finding out you're going through a
Mhm.
divorce. People always want to know the details of why you're getting
Mhm.
divorced, all of those things. It just felt like a horrible dream.
Like when okay, going through because I haven't been through one. I want to know going through a divorce because you said something that kind of sparked my interest. You said it made you feel ashamed because you got people that's asking you questions like, "What did you do? What happened? Where went wrong?" Like now looking back on that, do you or like do you
Mhm.
still feel ashamed looking back on it now, or do you consider yourself like I handled it the best I can in that moment that I was in it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No shame. God freed me from the condemnation, the shame, the guilt, all of that. No, he completely restored me. And that's one of the biggest messages I try to share with other women going through that and feeling like, this is a long-term feeling or experience when in fact it is just a chapter in your
Mm,
story. It's just a chapter in your story. And so no, I don't feel those feelings. It took a lot of work, counseling, um, yeah, and time, honestly,
mhm.
time to heal, to move on to the next season of life.
That's what that was gonna be my next question. Was the hardest part of healing? Was it letting go of the person, the pain, or the pictures?
Oh, that's a very good question. Oh, see, that's multi-layered. So I would say in full transparency, it was let's say this. After years of just learning more about myself and growing,
Hmm.
you have to keep in mind this was 16 years ago.
Hmm.
I was in my late 30s. I'm 52 now. So looking back, it was the image, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
it was the idea, fairy tale, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I was a person who had not gotten everything I wanted in life, but most of the things that I worked hard for, I got the desired results. And
Mm,
so for this to be a failure in my eyes at that time was devastating. That image of having, married my college sweetheart. Then we had a daughter together. We had the a home that just, you know, all the things that you kind of plan in your journal as a little girl, right?
mhm.
so,
Yeah.
and when that crumbled, that was one of the hardest parts, getting past that pain. And of course, the pain of, again, the feelings of guilt you carry yourself, like, did I make the wrong decision in the beginning? Did I rush to get? I was in my late 20s when I got married. You just kind of replay all your
Mhm.
decisions and saying, man, was I too young when I got married? Should I have waited? Was it the right person? All of those questions go through your mind. Um, so yeah, I would have to say it was a combination of those things.
Okay. When you were in the process of going through the ending part of it, how did you know it was time to go ahead and call it quits? Because I believe that a lot of us, and let's have a conversation, we stay in stuff to save face because we don't want to
Mm-hmm.
experience that, because we don't want to have to deal with the scrutiny behind walking away from situation. I put a post up on Facebook today. I said, and y'all, hey, y'all better not get me in the comments. Leave me alone. I said, just because you stayed don't mean you strong. Let that sink in.
That's right.
And
That's right.
and
That's
the
true.
question I want to ask you is, in the middle of that, because you got your family here, you are coming out, like you say, coming out of college. It's your sweetheart. We done build what we thought the family should look like. What was it in you that said, okay, I know
Hmm.
I have to walk away. Like this, it's me over everything. What made you put you first, if that makes sense?
Well, honestly, the it was my spouse that made the initial decision that they wanted to dissolve, that he wanted to dissolve the marriage.
Okay.
And so after about a year of separation, I can't remember which one of us finally. I think it had been legally married still, but separated. So
Okay.
I remember actually contacted the attorney. Let's just go ahead and
Hmm.
complete the paperwork, because he had already moved on
Hmm.
and was I was still stuck on I call it on stunned
Hmm.
season of my life, like just trying to get my bearings of like my new reality. So um yeah, I think it was it was a slow
The separation was a
process
slow
after
process.
separating, living apart, and then it was God eventually gave me peace about it.
All right, let's get to the good conversation because I want to talk about the life after the divorce. Let's talk about that. I want to ask a
Okay.
question. Um, how did you know you were truly healed and you weren't lonely before you started dating again? Because a lot of times,
I
and
would
just to,
say
just to
when I
just address the question, because we be single and we miss having our toes touching up against somebody else's, and we miss having a warm breath of somebody else on our neck. We say let's jump out there just because we want to feel it again.
right.
But with you, because let everybody know you met how long you married currently, right?
I'm engaged. I'm getting
There you
married
go.
in
So
April.
tell the people who's looking for life after divorce, when did you know that now I'm healed and ready to move on in the dating process versus me being lonely and just wanting somebody to occupy my time?
Mm, okay, so I would say when I knew that when I started dating someone, I no longer lived in that fear or anxiety of, you know, oh, if this doesn't work out, I'm gonna be stressed out. I made myself through a period of dating no one. And after my divorce, I had a relationship for about 9 months or so to a year. But it was a long distance relationship. So it was really, I didn't, they weren't with me every day. Right. So
Hmm.
I still
Hmm.
had my daughter and we would see each other, but it was long distance. And then that dissolved after a year. And God laid on my heart, it is time for you to give me all of you. Okay.
Mm.
Because I was a person always in a relationship. In college, I was just a relationship girl. I did not like dating, getting to know a bunch of different people. That was stressful to me, So I knew after that period of not dating anyone for a year, just focusing on healing, focusing on being whole. And then I started dating, but I still was not in a relationship with anyone for 3 years. For three
Mm.
years. And I remember my stepmom saying to me one day when she was asking me if I was dating anybody, I was like, yeah, I have friends, but this is wrong with that one, or I don't like that about that. We're just friends. I met some really, really good guys, but just not for me. And my stepmom said to me one day, she said, Kristi, you're going to have to give somebody a chance eventually again, So I was like, yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm not going to get anywhere like this. So, uh, I knew when I met my now fiance, well, we actually went to college together. We went to junior college together before I'd gone to college and met my ex-husband. So I met my yeah, we've known each other since 92, So you are crazy.
Taking notes, man. I gotta get my notebook out. I gotta get my notebook out. Hold on. Gotta get my notebook out. Whoa, because that means he already knew exactly what he wanted before the time even See, let me tell you
But
why.
you
Because the
know
last
what?
couple we had, the last person that we had on here last week, she had told me that she had already knew her husband's family before her husband even knew that they were going to be married. I said, "Oh, so the secret is you had already peeped the scene already." So
Wow.
now I'm saying with your now fiance husband, he had already peeped the scene and knew what he was getting. Okay, I,
Well,
okay.
in 92, you know, we were in junior college together, Tyler Junior College. And, you know, it was a small group of all of us at that time. You know, most of the African American students all hung out together. So
Mm.
we knew of each other, you know, but we went separate ways, you know, went
So when he
to
came
different
back,
universities.
so they say you still with Tyrone? Did he come back and ask you? Because you know that's what we do. We gonna peep the game first. We gonna say, hey, so so who got your who you seeing right now? Or did he just say,
Uh,
forget that? I know what I want. I'm going all in, baby. We going on a date tomorrow.
well, you know what was funny? It was funny because when we had our class reunion in 2012, which was 2 years after I'd been divorced, several of our classmates, when we got together, we were talking about, you know, just catching up with life and how's life been for you the last 10, 50, what have you been doing? And several of us were divorced, and we were like, I'm divorced. And the other were like, I'm divorced too. I'll never do that again. I won't either. That was wrong. You know, every bitter place. Like, so that was definitely, it was not time yet. Okay. Not time yet. So we both had to heal. You know, we both had been previously married. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it wasn't until 2014 when we got together, and he likes to tell this story to my dad. He likes to tell my dad I slid in his DMs.
Oh, it goes down in the DMs.
And it really was, I mean, this was like, I don't know, I think I don't know, I think he had posted something, you know, and then I was like, oh, there's Ben, let me see what Ben's been up to, you know. I was
Yeah,
like, I don't see
that
anything.
mean you slid. Yeah, that mean you slid in his DM. That's what he yeah
I
you did.
did, I
You
sent
slid
a
in his
message.
DM.
I did, and I was on vacation at the time with my daughter, and when we got back, he was like, give me a call when you get back and let's go out. And that was 20, that was a long time ago. We've been together a long time, about 10 years. We've been together
So
about 10 years. So,
my next question we're asking with that is seeing how this is the second time around.
yeah.
Were there boundaries you put in place this go around that you saw yourself that may have if you and I'm not but that you could look at it and say, you know what, had this has been in the first time around, it probably would have went further. Like what boundary did you create the second time around that maybe wasn't there the first time when you said I do?
Well, I think, well, I know who I am now. And in my 20s, I did not, you know, I'm very I know what I want. I'm a mother now. That's a big
Mm-hmm.
difference too. So there's a whole different set of boundaries that came into play when I was dating as a mother
Mm-hmm.
versus 20 something, you know, with just me. So I think I know myself more. I know what I believe. I know what I definitely need in relationship and in a marriage now. Much better, much older, much wiser, you know, than before.
Okay. Shifting gears the conversation, how did you and your current spouse have honest conversations about the past without allowing that to define where you guys were presently?
I think we've always been able to. One thing I love is that we're pretty authentic with each other. We're able to be our complete selves with each other. And, you know, yeah, I talked about some things. I told them a lot of things about what went wrong, what I did wrong, not just him. Um, and he was honest as well, you know. Um, mm, Now, how did we keep that from affecting our?
Where you are right now. Like, okay, you know how some people they'll tell you like, for instance, like you may be outside, right? And let's say you see somebody make her, they may say, "Hey, Christy, hey, Devon, how are you?" And they be like, "Oh, you know him? So how you know him? Oh, me and him, we went to high
Oh,
school together. So y'all cool? So you got your number? Oh, he calling you
yeah,
KK. I don't even call you KK. So I'm saying like, well, y'all have those kind of like conversational things that come up. How do you guys
yeah.
have the conversation without it being like in a petty or a toxic type conversation where now it becomes tick for tat? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Well, let me tell you something. We both two human beings, so we are flawed. I'm not going to even lie to you and tell you it's perfect. Um, because we both we've lived a whole life of experiences and met a lot of people.
Hmm.
He knows a lot of people. I know a lot of people. So that's where trust comes in. We've had to
Oh,
grow area for sure. We had
somebody
to
write
grow.
that in the chat room. Somebody write trust in the chat room because some of y'all get in relationships and the problem is it ain't that you can't trust your spouse. You can't even trust yourself. Okay,
I'm
all
telling
right.
you,
I'm sorry.
you're right about
Go ahead.
that.
Go
You're right
ahead. I'm
about that.
sorry. So you said trust came in and you realized that
Yeah,
before you guys got together, he had a life, you had a life, and it was more so understanding that we not finna play no games. We
right, right.
either we.
Well, you know, like I said, we're both human, and we've had some tough conversations
Hmm.
about just what was going on before we got together,
Hmm.
um, even together. Because here's the thing, you don't really know if you're healed. To me, in my opinion, um, I'll say it's interesting to me when I meet people who don't get in relationships for years and years and years. I'm still healing. I'm still healing. You don't know completely if you're healed sometimes until you're in a relationship with someone and they do the thing that triggers you that you didn't
Hmm.
know would still trigger you. Okay, so I think a big part of the healing comes from getting in a relationship
Hmm.
and discovering the areas that you're still broken in, the areas that you still have to work on yourself in, the fears that you still have of being hurt, the fears you might have of being loved and being let down. All those things come into play. It's not easy,
Hmm.
because you're bringing together two different people with two sets of values and
Yeah.
beliefs and experiences, especially later in life.
What I want to do here now is I want to go ahead and get crowd engagement because I see we have some questions in there. Y'all, if you got some questions for her, go ahead and put them down in the chat room and we'll try our best to get to them within a little bit of time that we have left here. I do see that one of our participants, they have a question right here. And the question that she asked is from Nicole. She said, "What took so long to remarry if you've been dating for 10 plus years?"
Okay, that's a question we always get, I understand it. I get it, right? It's not something I ever envisioned myself doing, right?
Mm,
But I will say this, our relationship has been through so many phases. First of all, when we
mhm.
first reconnected, we were just friends. Neither one of us were thinking about remarrying. If
Okay.
you had a difficult divorce, nobody's rushing to jump back in
Yeah.
into that. So again, it took a lot of growth and I had a daughter, mind you. That was very important to me. My daughter
Yeah.
was 8 years old when we started dating. He had a 9-year old daughter.
Mm,
So, our daughters became very close. And it was a matter of letting things happen naturally. Me still working on being a mom, that was my first priority,
yeah.
being
Yeah.
a mother. Okay. Uh,
Understandable.
yeah, and we were going through a lot of individual phases within learning each other,
Mhm.
learning you know when I have learned, like, people will say it don't take 10 years, it don't take 5 years, but if
You
you're
can't
not in
tell
it,
me.
you don't know. If you're not in it, only those two people know. And
Mhm.
it's just in my heart, I knew or strongly felt eventually, we would get there. So
And does he have children as well?
yes, he does. Yeah, he had
So
not like 9-year old daughter and adult daughters, two adult daughters.
So, what was the biggest adjustments you guys had to make now bringing the children into the picture?
It really has not been hard because they've been together since they were young. They've known of each other. We've spent a lot of time together. But respecting the boundaries of um his parenting style, respecting my parenting style, um respecting the other parents,
Mhm.
you know,
That's a big one. That's a big one.
that is a big thing to me.
Mhm.
And it is ultimately about the children being happy, the children having peace. You
Mhm.
know, that's so important to me. So yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. You got to consider everybody involved.
Yeah, yeah. So now where you are, what does healthy love look like now compared to what you saw in the past?
Oh, it looks like joy. It looks like acceptance. It looks like unconditional love. It looks like peace. It looks like authenticity. It looks like transparency. It looks like loving each other with the love of God.
Mm.
It looks like patience, um, acceptance, forgiveness. I think that's it. I could go on and on. I think. Those are the
That's what
was that
happened
enough?
when you
Was
get
that
it
enough?
again, baby. You be right. You better have joy, happiness, love, good times, all the times. That time, this time, those times. It's man, I'm enjoying having a conversation, and I know that we are slowly coming to the end because we are reaching our point. But I got this last question that I want to ask, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. The question I want to ask you is, um, if someone feels like divorce is the end of the story, what would you tell them?
I would remind them that it is only a chapter in your life. It is not the entire story. I wore the sweatshirt to remind you God is still writing your story, and it says, stop trying to take the pen. Let God guide you through the process. Be patient. Know that it does not last forever, but know that God gives you some power in how long you stay in this season. There are things you can do
Mhm.
to, slow this process down or to move through it, uh, at the pace that God would have you to. So don't be discouraged. Don't feel like this is the end of the world because it is not. You will smile again. You will laugh again. You will have joy again. It's
Mm.
only
That right there, I ain't e, I'm speechless. Like you have just you dropped a wealth of information that I believe that some of us single, married folks, things of that sort that we could take to better our relationship. Before we end the night out, go ahead and tell the people where they could go ahead and find your book at. Because if you got all these hidden
oh
gems off of conversation, I could just only imagine on what the book got. So go on and tell people about the book
oh
and where they
thank
could get
you.
it at.
Yes. Okay. So you can find the book on Amazon. And in the book, it does include a workbook and a journal area. So you can process your own thoughts and feelings if you are going through a divorce or a difficult breakup as well. So there's some tools in there to help you rebuild your life and, just some very strategic steps you can take to begin just discovering the new version of you and life. And when I say love, discovering life and love, I mean loving yourself first
Mhm.
before you do go out and look for a new romantic partner. So
Right. I don't want to let you go. I mean, I'm having so much fun just having
I
a
enjoy it.
conversation and the interacting with the comment section. Like this has really been such a thrill and joy for me. If you're not doing anything on Friday, I would love for you to come to Love, Sex, and Relationship Clinic and just share some of the things you have. If you're not there, if you come in, look around, and we would most definitely love to have you. I think that you've given us some great tools, especially for blended families, for people life after the divorce. I know we have a
Mhm.
couple of divorcees in our church, and some of them they're scared and don't know what it looked like. They don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. I've known this for so long, doing it with this, doing it that way, and now I have to figure out what is life gonna look like now moving forward. And I just
Yeah.
want to let y'all know that if you want to know what life is gonna look like now moving forward, you better go get the book. Go get Removing the Ring, Discovering Life and Love Beyond the Divorce. Y'all need to go on Amazon, go cop the book right now, because I believe that, as our pastor said earlier, that God has made this year to be the year that He's going to show you that you are made for more. And in order for you to understand that you're made for more, you have to do the first step by realizing that God has created you in His image. What does Scripture say? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You have to
Right.
understand that. And when you understand that, I believe that that would allow you to get over any season in your life. It's something I like to say. It's called participatory deliverance. And what that
Mhm.
simply mean is that mean that when you do this, God will turn around and do that. And for people that are in the process of going through a divorce, or you're in the divorce stage, you came out of a divorce and you're now in that single state, I call this section called participatory deliverance. That where God has you at right now, that He has to get you to a point to where you know how to rid yourself of old behaviors, so that you can allow Him to create new opportunities for you. One thing
Mhm.
that you cannot do is you cannot expect to put a new car where old cars been sitting if you ain't moved the old car out. Y'all
Right.
catch that one on the way home.
That's right.
But I'm just
That's
saying.
right.
So, Miss Christie, again, I just want to thank you so much for giving of your
Thank
information. Go ahead and let the people know where they could see you at, where your social media platform. Let them get out, because this ain't gonna be your last interview. That book gonna sell, and you got to get it. You got to get ready for the podcasters to come after this. I'm speaking that into your life. That
I
this is not
receive
gonna
it. I
be
receive
the
that.
first or the last that you gonna have podcasters trying to chase you down just to hear your story. Let them know where they can see you at, or where they can contact you at.
They can follow me on TikTok. And on TikTok, I am the Motivated Mama, Motivated MAMA. Mhm. And I am on Facebook, but much more active on TikTok. I offer words of encouragement and wisdom on a daily basis to women. So please follow me there.
So, in other words, don't be trying to go on Facebook to find her, because you're not gonna be on her
I'm not
friend
on
request. She going to TikTok. She wants y'all all on her TikTok page, because that's where she devote her time and attention for
Yeah,
her ministry. So y'all go
that's
hit
it.
her up on TikTok, y'all. Show her some love. Matter of fact, when y'all leave out of here today, I want y'all to go over to her TikTok and just like, share, comment, let her know that you saw her on here and she did an amazing job. I'm just so happy, and I'm just so happy to have now. If I can be, that'll be my new big sister. I'm sorry, I'm
There
about to
you
call you
go.
for
Okay,
every. Really, I'm about to say, sis, let me tell you what she done did right now. Let me,
okay,
because
call
last
me
night
up.
I was leaving church yesterday, and she gonna be on the phone with something. And I just okay. I will talk about that later on. Talk about that later on. Listen, y'all. As always, if tonight has been a blessing to you, we do offer you the opportunity to sow into that ground. The ways to give is on our screen, and be a blessing. I always have this saying, is that when you get something that has blessed you, when you get a word or some encouragement that bless you, put some seed in the ground. How do you do that? You do that with your treasure of your heart. That's what matters the most. So you put some seed in the ground and let you know that let God know that you're believing for a mighty harvest in this area. And here, y'all got the ways to give, all that good stuff. Well, listen, I can keep y'all all night, but I don't want to, because some of y'all probably going to steak night. It's a real simple prayer that I pray before we leave. It's simply, God, your will, your way, nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. Christy, you got anything you want to say?
Thank you so much again for this opportunity. I pray that it bless someone today. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed you, Pastor Cal. A great
Thank you.
conversation. I'd love to do it again. Thank you.
Oh, you will. You will. Don't worry. You will. Because we're going to get into that book. We're going to get to that book. Listen, y'all. Y'all have a great night until next week. Join us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for our daily dose with Dr. Martise Lindsay. It's going to be phenomenal. Y'all go. I'll see y'all Friday. All right, Chrissy, have a great night. Y'all have a
You
good one.
too.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.